Hello, BookTube. I was out and about today, running some errands, and a friend of mine uh, was prepping for a charity event in the basement of his church, and he had a ton of books. And he asked me if I was interested in any of them. I said, sure, I can come by the event. And he said, no, I mean, do you want to take any of them now? Because I have more than I need. And there were boxes and boxes and boxes of books. So I took a look. You'll be shocked to learn I found a bunch of stuff I wanted. So I loaded them into a tote bag. I loaded the tote bag onto a complaining, muscular teenager and brought them back here to Hyde Cottage. And I thought I'd show them to you, just so you could see what got my motor revving. Yeah, because they're not new books. These are things you could find in a used bookstore yourself. The first one is something I'm sure I've mentioned on this channel before. It's one of the great political biographies of all time. It's Harry Williams' biography of Huey Long, the Kingfish, the totally corrupt Louisiana politician who was lowered the bar on every kind of governmental and fiscal ethics, and just kept lowering it and kept lowering it and kept lowering it, and would have lowered it all the way to the Oval Office, but he was shot several million times. But this is just thrilling from start to finish. I love the book. And I think I've mentioned on the channel that the reason why I like the hardcover, I think this is my second hardcover, so if any of you are interested, maybe in New Orleans, the reason that I grab the hardcover whenever I find it is because the paperback, the mass market paperback that was made 40 years ago, the book is too big for a mass market paperback, so the binding just doesn't work. But so I grabbed it, of course, it was there. And then the next two are also biographies, and not only biographies, but royal biographies, and not only royal biographies, but Windsor biographies. First one is Sarah Bradford's biography of Elizabeth, the Queen. Sarah Bradford, I think I've mentioned on this channel before, she's a very good, popular biographer. She really, she's an outsider, of course. There's no such thing as an insider when it comes to a biography of the Queen. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. They all act like it, but they aren't. And she acts like it, oh my God, like nobody's business. But she's really good. She's really knows her way around the Royal Archives and really knows how to tell a story and keep it moving forward. And I think this is also a duplicate. I'm pretty sure that that I have the UK hardcover of this, which looks completely different. But I haven't actually, I just got back, so I haven't actually checked to see if it's a duplicate. If it is, then it is. I'm okay with that. And then the next one is a very different kettle of fish. It's The Prince of Wales by Jonathan Dibley. And this is an insider account. The Prince of Wales gave him access, personal access, all sorts of conversations, all sorts of days together, that sort of thing. The kind of thing that the Queen absolutely does not do. And the result, Dibley's a hell of a writer. One of the only examples I know of, probably 5 examples in the history of literature, where someone wrote a biography of his own father that was brilliant. Not that Prince Charles is his father. That was a different book. Get your mind out of the gutter. But he took what all of his friends at the time that this came out, this was the 80s, back when we were all happy. 1994 was when it was published, but he was doing it at the turn of the decade, and all of his friends were telling him, it's a nothing subject. The guy's a stuffed shirt. He's on charity boards. He doesn't do anything. There's no history there. You'd be writing a biography with a hole at the center. And he didn't believe that, and he delivers. Oh boy, what a book! What a narration of psychology. If you are the least bit interested and you see this thing, you might think, what his friends thought. There's nothing there. Read a biography of an actual monarch. Don't read a biography of somebody who's been waiting at the door for 50 years. But if you see it, get it, because it's really not that. It's really good. And I don't have a copy. I didn't have a copy. The minute I saw it, I realized that because there's a new biography of Prince Charles coming out in I think a month or two. I don't remember exactly what it is. It's soon. I will certainly try to review it for somebody. I will beg and plead. And if not, I will certainly do it for Open Letters. and it's uncanny. Gray the hair, and it's the same face. Gray the hair, and it's the same person. But an entire generation of humans has lived and died in that time. The uncanny Windsor, as one commentator put it years ago, the uncanny Windsor aptitude for immortality. But I look forward to rereading it. I will reread this book in preparation for reading the new one. And then we go to fiction, and this is The Spell by Alan Hollinghurst. I've always loved this cover design. I don't know why, and I've always loved this book. It doesn't get as much love as The Line of Beauty or The Stranger's Child. He has now moved on to writing these gigantic, obviously literarily important books, and he started out that way too, with The Swimming Pool Library and The Fold. But this one is sort of the little thing in the middle, the little book in the middle that doesn't get all the Hollinghurst love that all the other books do. And I don't know why, because it's actually delightful and really smart. A story of a country house stay, set in contemporary times, of course, but a country house stay and all sorts of psychological and especially sexual unspoken politics going on the whole time. It's just a really good little novel. I mean, that's probably why it doesn't get the love, is that it is, obviously a minor novel. But those can be fun too. I like them a lot. The next one is a major work of history, an absolute must-have for readers of the American Civil War. It's a must-have book for that. It's Stonewall in the Valley by Robert Tanner. I've never seen. The old copy that I had was the one with the yellow dust jacket and a sort of painting on the cover. This, I don't know what that is, but this was not any version that I've ever had. But I love the book. Oh my God, it's all about the campaign that Stonewall Jackson waged in 1862 in the Shenandoah Valley, which those of you who don't live in America, and even a lot of you who do live in America, if you haven't seen the Shenandoah, not only is it a tactician's dream come true, but it's also one of the most gorgeous places on earth. And Jackson holed up there with a very mobile army and was facing a gigantic Union force under General McClellan, and he darted in and out of hollers, and the Massanutten Gap. There's the valley is walled on either side, but there's a gap, just like a tooth missing, and you can use that to your advantage if you know the terrain and can move at lightning speed, which Jackson was able to do, because, and then you end that sentence, if you are a fan of an armchair military historian who's a fan of General Jackson, then you say he was able to do that because of strategic and tactical genius. If you're not a fan, like I am, I'm not a fan, then you end that sentence by saying he was able to do that because he was perfectly willing to kill 300 people a day on forced marches. He's perfectly happy to tell exhausted, underfed soldiers, you have to march at a very brisk walk, carrying 30 pounds of gear, for 60 straight miles. I won't be marching with you. I'll be on horseback, but I expect you to do it. And if you die, you die. Either way, Tanner makes a fantastic, it almost reads like a military fiction. It's so good. And again, when I saw this, immediately I realized that I don't have my old version, and I don't have any version of it, so so I grabbed it. Then the next one is this, The Traveler's Companion to Venice. This is compiled by John Julius, Norwich, and it's not a travel guide. Instead, it's a historical anthology. So he picks certain aspects, a dozen aspects of visiting Venice, arriving there, for instance, eating there, visiting the Doge's Palace, visiting St. Mark's. Each one of those is a chapter, and in each of those chapters he mines the vast literature of people visiting Venice over the centuries. And it's amazing. These travelers' companions, this was not the only one. There were many of them, and they're all wonderful. I had them all at one point or another, and got rid of them all, and I don't know why. And especially, I don't know why I got rid of the companion to my second favorite place on earth. But now I found it again for free. None of this cost me anything, of course. And then the next thing is historical fiction, and it's UK. I love UK paperbacks. I don't know why. I just do. This is The Constant Princess by Philippa Gregory. This is her novel about Queen Catherine of Aragon, the first and only legitimate wife of Henry VIII, and it's just wonderful. And this is the UK paperback. The American paperback didn't look like this, and I really like it, except for it follows the completely ubiquitous fad of novels at the time, and I think since, of eliminating the face. We get the body of these Tudor people, men and women, but we don't get the face. I'm not really sure that I understand that, but that comes from the famous Other Boleyn Sister cover. That got it going. But I haven't read The Constant Princess since it first came out in America in 2006, so I will gobble it right up. Then the last thing is a romance. Georgette Heyer. A Civil Contract. Bubbly champagne. So there you go. That is a used book haul for the day, and I'll see you soon. Thank you, BookTube.